Welcome students in the class. It's my pleasure teaching you such good listeners. So today we were studying about the epithelial tissue in which we learned that the various functions the epithelial tissue perform is the protection of the underlying tissues, absorption of the nutrients and minerals from the digested food, excretion of the waste in the form of urine or excreta, the secretion of certain saliva, mucus, sweat, hormones, enzymes through various glands, and even the sensation, that means the receiving and sensing the signals or stimuli from the various senses by the epithelial tissue, what the various functions of the epithelial tissue which we learned. Even we learned that the epithelial tissue cells are placed on a basement membrane and below which there is a connective tissue. Now, we are going to study about the different types of epithelial tissue based on the shape, their organization, the number of layers, and the shape of the cells. So based on that, the different functions is being allotted to different epithelial tissue. The different epithelial tissue is present for their particular function in that particular area of the body. So now students, first of all we are going to learn today about the squamous epithelial tissue. So the squamous epithelial tissue is mostly thin and flat sac-like polygonal cells, okay, and they are closely fitted like tiles in a mosaic floor. There is a floor, suppose in your home, you can easily see the tiles are being placed near against each other in a mosaic arrangement. So such an arrangement is a shape, is a structure of the simple squamous epithelium. And when these cells are placed above many layers each above each other, so such an arrangement is named as a stratified squamous epithelium tissue. Now mostly the simple squamous epithelium tissue is present in the lining of esophagus and mouth, whereas the stratified squamous epithelium is present in the lining of the buccal cavity, in the pharynx, and the skin. You know that the buccal cavity is the space between the cheeks and the teeth, and the pharynx is below the mouth, and even the skin, you are knowing about it. So in this way, the simple squamous epithelium present in these areas, and the stratified squamous epithelium is present in the buccal cavity, pharynx, and the skin. So now students, the cells of the squamous epithelium are thin and flat. Why it is thin and flat? They are thin and flat so that they should be able to absorb nutrients and something from the different layers, and the permeable nature of this epithelium is meant for, that is why it has a thin and flat structure. The layer of the cells is very thin. You can see in this figure, this is a simple squamous cell and it is a single layer, and below it there is a basement membrane which has been marked in the figure, and below that there is a connective tissue. And in this way it has a single layer so that it should have its permeable nature, so that any substance can be transported easily through this particular membrane. Now the stratified squamous epithelium has multiple layers because so that it should provide a certain good thickness, and the wear and tear should be stopped. The wear and tear should not be occur in the particular area of that particular tissue present in the stratified squamous epithelium tissue. So suppose we consider the skin. Skin can wear and tear if continuously rubbed against something. So in this way there are various things which can cause wear and tear in the skin. So the multiple layers help to stop that particular part of the skin or any area from wear and tear. Now there are functions of the simple squamous epithelium or stratified squamous epithelium is they protect the underlying parts of the body from mechanical injury, entry of any foreign particles, and drying. Even it helps in gaseous exchange and acts as selectively permeable membrane, as I told you earlier, because that is why it has a thin and flat structure. So these are the figures of the simple squamous epithelium and stratified squamous epithelium. Now students, the second type of epithelium tissue is the cuboidal epithelium tissue. From the name only we can understand that the cells of such a tissue, such cuboidal epithelium tissue, are cube-like. We can easily see in this figure the structure, the shape of the cells in this case is a cube-like, and they have a rounded nuclei in the center, present in the center. You can see in this figure. And if we see in this particular figure of this cuboidal epithelium from the top view, it will appear as all the cells are in square shape. Okay, if we will see from the top, the cells of the shape of the cells will appear as square shape. Now, this tissue is mostly occurs in the areas like the lining of the small salivary ducts, pancreatic ducts, sweat glands, and thyroid glands, and even in the lining of kidney tubules. So, we can understand that ducts are the areas or the tubes through which any gland secretes the substances like mucus, sweat, oil, hormones. So all these, even saliva, so all these ducts allow that particular secretion to move through them. So in this way, this epithelium is helping for excretion, secretion, and even absorption, because it is present in the kidney tubule, so it absorbs the nutrients and even the waste substances from it, so that the pure substances can be flowed in our whole body in the form of blood or any water or any liquid. And even this tissue protects the underlying parts. Most of the epithelial tissue protects the underlying parts. So this is a common function in all the base types of epithelium tissues. Now, secondly, the third type of epithelium tissue is the columnar epithelium tissue. From the name we can understand, from the figure we can see, the cells are pillar-like, which are quite tall and wide, but less wide, but are more taller, with elongated nuclei. They have elongated nuclei. The nuclei is very elongated, large, and it is present in the bottom of the cell. Okay, you can see in this figure. In this figure also, the cell is placed in the bottom. Okay. So they also contain some hair-like projections which called cilia. You can see in this figure, these are cilia, hair-like projections which you call cilia. That is why the columnar epithelium can be also a ciliated columnar epithelium. Now, it is mostly present in the lining of stomach, intestine, gallbladder, respiratory tract, and the passage of fallopian tubes, which are present in our parts which excrete the waste products from our body. Okay, so these are the areas where the columnar epithelium tissue is mostly present. Now we should know why the columnar epithelium tissue has a taller structure or pillar-like structure. It has such a structure so that it should provide a maximum protection to the underlying tissues. Okay, suppose if you have to pack a bag or something for a tour, you pack your bags and keep the glass substances under a cushioning area. In a similar manner, this tissue, which is the columnar epithelium tissue, provides a much cushioning effect to different parts of the organ or part of the body. So even it also protects, it helps the intestine or the various stomach parts or different parts of the body for further protection. Now the function of the columnar epithelium tissue are the present in the lining of intestine. It is specialized to absorb the digested food and water. Okay, and the cilia, which is present in the top of the column of the cell, it helps in the movement of mucus, eggs, urine, or sperms to the different parts or the different excretory parts of our body. So this is a various common function of the columnar epithelium tissue. Now students, finally, when the columnar cells, you can see in this figure, the columnar cells which are folded inwards, you can easily see this one cell is folded inwards. That's why it's showing a different figure, different image. So this columnar cell is folded inwards. So when the columnar cells are folded inwards, they form a multicellular glands or the unicellular glands. The unicellular glands are the scattered cells which are known as the goblet cell. You can see in this figure, they are unicellular glands. And the multicellular glands, you can see that they are folded inwards. The columnar cells folded inwards, these are known as the multicellular glands. So there are glands which are present, that may be gastric glands, pancreatic lobules, and intestinal glands, which are present in the columnar epithelial tissue. So these various glands secrete sweat, enzymes, oil, saliva, and hormones from various different kinds of glands: sweat gland, salivary gland, endocrine gland. Okay, so these are the certain areas through which the various glands secrete the various substances. So in this way we can understand that the columnar epithelial tissue provides maximum protection, and it helps in the absorption of various substances and even the secretion of various liquids or substances from the body of various glands, from the parts of various glands. And the glands are mostly formed of the columnar cells. And even we learned that there are some cube-like cells which may be ciliated also. They provide some excretion, secretion, and absorption through their salivary ducts, pancreatic ducts. The mostly ducts contain the coboidal epithelium tissue. Okay, and The squamous epithelium tissue has a thin and flat structure so that it should provide maximum permeability to the particular part of the particular organ of the body. So that with the lining of esophagus and mouth, there will be much permeability there. That is why the simple squamous epithelium is present there. But if we need to protect or stop wear and tear of any body part, so in this way stratified squamous epithelium is present, which contains many multiple layers. So students, we learn about epithelium and types of epithelium tissue. So please watch it attentively, and thank you for watching so long. So note down the important points also, and watch twice. I will suggest you, because I have covered a lot of examples, lot of types of epithelial tissue today. Thank you students, thank you very much.